Hey there, nerds. Welcome to Alpha 22, Alpha Deuce Deuce, clap clap. What's up? How we doing, Seth?
Pedro, I'm doing pretty good, pretty phenomenal tonight. I got this allergy thing hitting me pretty hard though, buddy. Telling you what, springtime. Springtime is rough for allergies.
Yeah, springtime hurts. I am joined here by my wonderful co-host, Seth Desert Eagle Slykehouse,
Desert
and he's
Eagle.
yeah, that's like both a great nickname and a terrible one. Like you can make a case that like it's a little corny, but awesome depending on the context.
Yeah, no, I love it. Did you know there is a gun called the Baby Eagle?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a small desert eagle. Pretty awesome.
Hmm. So we're gonna get right to the nitty gritty here.
Nitty gritty.
We're right into the nitty gritty. So
All right.
I've been real busy since about Saturday.
Okay.
So for like the first time, I wouldn't say first time, but like one of the few occasions in my life, both the Knicks and the Islanders made the playoffs in their respective sports. So I'm watching playoff games every night, buddy. On top of like trying to grind out the rest of Trails in the Sky second chapter. So my
hmm
schedule has just been I'm booked. Like people have asked me to go out to dinner, people have asked me to hang out, and I'm like, I can't do it. 7:30, we got 7:30 tip off, 7:30 puck drops. Like we can't. I'm unavailable right now.
We're just too busy, huh?
Yeah. Specifically me. I don't know about you, but I am extremely busy. And
No, I'm never busy.
yeah, no, me, I'm completely booked.
Being a,
And
being a sports fan is just too much of a commitment.
it is, and it is also heartbreaking. Also, fun fact: I squeezed in a little UFC over the weekend. I got to watch.
Oh,
I watched the Max Holloway card. Well, the fight night. Let's not the card, but he was on. He was like the main event on fight night. He won, by the way.
I saw that.
So yeah, Clay Guida is still fighting, which is incredible to me.
You know what I don't like? I don't like that when I see Max Holloway, I'm like, we're at the tail end of that kid's career.
Oh yeah, he
He's on
looks
a downward
depressed.
trend.
Yeah,
He's on the downward trend, and I don't like that because I feel like we didn't get long enough time with Max Holloway on top. You know,
right.
Max Holloway on top. That was a special time where he was pointing in the middle of the fucking octagon, being like, "Let's trade hands." Just
Yeah, I agree.
and his beatdown of Brian Ortega, probably the best
Beautiful.
beatdown in all of UFC history. Kind of
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, and I don't know. UFC, I just feel like it's still hard for them to maintain stars, and then like guys who get hot then fall the fuck off. What's up, Jorge Masvidal? But like, dude, he stinks right now. Ugh.
Jorge Masvidal he was always a mid tier fighter who got
He had a
a
little hot
quick
streak.
knockout of Ben Askren, and
I
he
thought he won a
punched.
fight before that. He
Uh,
was like on a heater for a little bit.
well, before he beat Ben Askren, he got famous for giving Leon Edwards a sucker punch backstage,
What, the 2-piece combo and a soda?
and he knocked out Darren Till, who, as we know, was all hype.
Yeah, so
He like brutally beat down Darren Till.
love it. Yeah, so we've been real busy over here in Pedro land. Loving it though. You know, I enjoy having action every night. We got playoff intensity every night, but it does suck when your teams fucking lose. But anyway, we're not gonna spend any time on that. I have been grinding the Trails in the Sky second chapter pretty hard.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm on chapter 6. I feel like this game's gonna end. Like, are you sure there's like 9 chapters? You said there's 9. There might be. Are you sure
Yeah.
it's not like 8?
No. So there's. Let me look this up. There is. I thought I said there was 10 chapters, including the prologue and the
The
finale.
epilogue. Okay, that makes more sense.
So we're talking 8 numbered chapters,
Yeah,
which is correct. Yes, eight
yeah. So
numbered
I
chapters.
I, I think we're on the back 9. Not that I want to spoil the game for any of our lovely listeners, but some shit's gone down. Bitch smacked the dragon. Uh, infiltrated a little base. Bitch smacked some bracers. But I will
Now,
say,
yeah, go ahead.
I have a couple gripes.
Okay.
Joshua in this game is like insufferable. I get why, like I get it, but he's like a complete. This is you can just get the hint of like this is like prime edgelord time
Yeah.
because him and a certain someone in that game are just complete edge lords. It's brutal. Like they're just like so edgy and angsty. Like okay,
Wait, who's the other edge lord?
Mister fucking Mister remember the guy who was like the intelligence lieutenant, Lawrence? Him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell
Yeah,
me he's
his
not an edge lord. Tell me he's not
he's
fucking
100% an edge lord.
yeah. Like this game reeks of like prime like 2006 2007 edge lordery where like
The Sasuke
yeah.
Uchiha
Yeah, like
syndrome.
that's the vibes. Hard Sasuke Uchiha vibes, and I'm not for those vibes.
No.
I will say Estelle is starting to win me over, and I usually don't like protagonists like her because she's just kind of a ditz. But she
Yeah.
finally made some moves where I'm like, okay,
Yeah, she grew on me a lot in second chapter.
yeah,
Became one of my favorite Trails characters now. Now, so you said you're on chapter 6, right?
yeah, like right
Trying
at
to
the end of
figure
it. I'm
out. Oh,
assuming.
okay. No. So chapter 8 is the annoying one. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So we should be done with the game by the end of the week, but yeah, because what I've been trying to do is like squeeze like a couple hours in before like the playoff game starts.
Hmm.
So I usually get like 2 hours in. Yeah,
I will say, I jumped right into the third game,
yeah.
and I'm just Sky has not exhausted me like Cold Steel did, and I don't know what that means, but with Cold Steel there was that feeling of exhaustion by the time you got to the end,
Mm,
and with Sky, I haven't felt that. So it was really easy for me to jump from first chapter into second chapter, now from second chapter into the third, especially because the third is such a different game and it
yeah,
has
I
a
heard
different
you get completely
protagonist.
different. Yeah, well, I'm assuming context wise because these two, Estelle and Joshua, pop up in another area, and
Mhm.
that's actually what led me to coming and be like, oh wait a minute, we got to jump into the Liberal arc because where
It's
I'm
a smart move. It's a smart move.
well, like I told you before, I didn't want the fucking feeling again. Like I just didn't want to miss stuff.
Yeah,
And
and
like,
that was definitely going to happen looking back because there's just so much setup in these games, so much.
oh my god, yeah, it's like a disgusting amount of setup. Now, you told me like a day ago, I think it was yesterday. You messaged me and you told me you took the bitterest of L's.
I did. I got spoiled on the new game coming out, Trails into Reverie.
So walk me through how this happened, our sweet boy.
So everybody should know if they have a PC that there's this amazing application called Wallpaper Engine. I think I put you onto this, didn't I, Pedro?
No, I have no
Where you
idea what
can
that
get
is.
these really cool like moving wallpapers and stuff, and people like it's
Uh,
like people custom make these wallpapers. And I
uh,
was looking up Legend of Heroes wallpapers because I'm really into it. I got my whole like gaming space right over here. You can't really see it, but it's
yeah.
all Legend of Heroes themed. Um, and I was looking up these gaming wallpapers, and one of the wallpapers had a spoiler for Trails into Reverie, and I was like, "Fuck! I've gone
So
all this time without being spoiled, and then just at the finish line, I got spoiled."
okay, so without spoiling it for me, paint the picture. How did you know it was like what happened?
'Cause I can't tell you because if I even mention what was in this photo, it'll immediately spoil. No, no. I already told you it was the identity of C.
Yeah, mask guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So they
It was
just
the
had him
identity.
without a mask.
Yeah, is it C or is it Z?
I don't know. I don't know what that guy's name is. So like, I just
Yeah,
know
whatever.
there's some jackass running around in a mask and trails the referee. So
So that's how that happened. Um, yeah, it's a mysterious C.
oh, the mysterious C. Wait,
Yeah,
wait, 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 wait. Hold on, hold on. And there was somebody else named C in that series.
yeah, I know.
Wait, they can't. Oh, they double dipped those sons of bitches.
Yeah, dude, you know what's so weird though is that Trails of Cold Steel is like a dream state for me because I can't remember what happens plot wise in these games at all.
Ah, dude, I remember. I fucking remember it like yesterday.
I built so after I beat Trails of Cold Steel second chapter this week, which was phenomenal, by the way. In case anyone hadn't realized that I was going to love that game, um, I decided to take a little break and build my Valimar statue, which I didn't actually take a break. I couldn't stop myself from jumping into a third, but um, I decided to build the Valimar. It's not a statue; it's a model kit, like a gunpla kit. Um, Real quick build, not long at all. I have some gripes. Good Smile, the company, not as good at making model kits as Bandai. There's some egregious nubs on this model kit, which are annoying to take care of, but um, not too bad. Nothing that I can't handle as a guy that's built a lot of models. And the other thing is that there's a lot of like things that are painted on this model. I was wrong about what was unpainted. I thought the whole model was unpainted. It's not. The gold trim on Valimar, like where his like gold trim is on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the only part of this pit kit that is unpainted. I unironically the hardest part to paint also.
They're like, yeah,
So
we're not
like
paying that.
yeah, I'm like god damn it. Thankfully I have a girlfriend who's phenomenal at painting in case I can't do it. So
Oh yeah, I forgot she does paint things.
yeah, she paints minis. So
So if I ever finish master grades, I'm just gonna ship them to you. Like, yeah, this needs painted.
well see, that's the thing. Like Gundam kits, I can do because
I
they're
just
easy
can't.
because they're all
Yeah.
lines, right? They're all like straight lines, and the Gundam makes specific kits for that you can like line and stuff. But Valimar's trim is like curves and like real
Mm.
real. They come to real fine points, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are killing me here.
So
But
here's a horrifying thought I had the other day. I was taking, well, whatever. I was taking a shit and was for some reason thinking about Trails of like just the Legend of Heroes, and I
yeah,
had a genuinely terrifying thought.
what's that?
What if they started making prequels?
I would be cool with that.
Well, I'm just
At
like,
this point, we
oh.
might as well, right?
Well, I feel like certain shit, like I've the lore in this fucking game, like so much shit happens that like you could definitely do a prequel with like,
Oh yeah,
and you can make like Cassius Bright the fucking main character, like because
fuck Cassius Bright, dude.
dude,
I'm so tired
he's
of
done
him.
so much shit. He's done so much shit.
No, yeah, that's right. Before Trails in the Sky, all of a sudden Trails in the Sky happens, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do general stuff now. I'm not gonna actually do anything."
Yeah, there was
Fuck
that
Cass.
scene that he was like, "There's some significant things going down." He's like, "Should I get involved?" No.
I know, right? I'm
Oh my
like,
god.
"Hey, dude, there's a
Like if not
oh
now, when, buddy? If not now,
yeah,
when?
exactly. When's your moment to shine? Not now, apparently."
No. Uh I did
Oh,
have a little bit of Trails of third chapter spoiled for me. Nothing story wise, just I was like perusing YouTube and I saw like a certain boss fight that happens. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Trails in the Sky the third is interesting to me because it doesn't really seem to be the third Trails in the Sky game. I think that name is a little misleading. It seems
Mm,
like this is a game that is almost a side story that might set up the Crossbell games, but
probably does.
but I was looking at like the characters that show up in this game, and they don't show up in well, a lot of them don't show up in Cold Steel. They don't show up in the Sky games, and I'm like, well, okay. So I think this is like a just a side story that apparently is pretty good, but very different. So I don't
I'm excited. So we still got some things to clean up in second chapter for me, but yeah, and I'm excited. I'm enjoying the game thoroughly.
know. So Pedro, I would like to
Yes.
start um reading comments
Oh,
from our viewers on the show.
we have comments.
We do. We have one of my longtime
I think I know who
friends
this
and
is.
listeners, Alden
Yeah.
asked, something I'd like to hear on a future episode is Pedro's thoughts on Seth's Tomb Raider reboot. Laura is the sole aggressor theory.
What?
Don't remember this theory
Uh,
about Alden,
we're like,
but
hmm.
I don't know what he's actually talking about.
Well, if I may, I think I know what he's talking about. I don't think I've ever heard your theory, but if I'm just putting two and two together, I don't disagree with you. Because like if I remember the Tomb Raider games correctly, like those guys are just minding their fucking business, just trying to be just some dudes. If I remember the story correctly, and then Laura shows up and just starts capping their buddies. If I remember the stories correctly, I haven't played a ton of the new Tomb Raiders. I tried to and just never got into them, but I don't think I disagree.
So, okay. What I think is going on here, because I'm trying to remember, because I played Shadow of the Tomb Raider so long ago. But what I remember is very specifically, first off, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a phenomenal game that holds up today. Everyone should play Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I think that the original Tomb Raider game that came out in, what was it, 2013? You'd say 2012.
Correct. Yes.
Is a worthy reboot that showed a young Lara Croft, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider was a great follow up to that game that improved upon everything. And by the way, maxed my PC out right after I got it. That game is a resource hog. I don't know what they did with it, but I really loved Rise of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a game that was a huge step backward for that series, I felt. And they paint that picture clear as day in the beginning of that game that Lara Croft is the villain of that game. And they changed her whole personality, and I never even finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I only got like halfway through because it just wasn't interesting. But as far as Seth's Laura is the sole aggressor theory, I'm sorry, Alden. I don't remember that theory for me. But he also says, the second Pedro said, I actually really liked Mass Effect Andromeda. My brain subconsciously conjured the thought, whoa, Pedro, that's some Elijah energy you got there.
Listen, we all have our own takes, sir, but I don't necessarily. I'm not going to retract my opinion. I thought Mass Effect Andromeda is, for what it's worth and what I paid for it. So I paid $9 when I got Mass Effect Andromeda. So I got 60 hours of entertainment. I enjoyed myself. What are you gonna do?
No, I agree with you. Now, unlike Elijah though, this is a opinion that you've held since the beginning.
Correct.
That you enjoyed this game and you had a good time with it. And I've been unwavering that I can't even get 2 hours in because I hate the way the protagonist is. His head is too big for his little tiny frail male body.
See, I made my protagonist like basically like you can't. I don't remember if you can give curly hair, but he had long hair and a mustache. So I like that was so my guy just looked hilarious. So that was probably the first step for me. And then the
You can
plan was to
only
fuck
make
everything that moves.
you can only make a beta male in Andromeda, and I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that's
correct.
not that's not. I can't do it. I can't play that guy.
That was prime
You
time
know,
woke time.
it is against my whole being to play a beta male. I mean, it doesn't work. So
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
game
No,
I've been playing lately, Pedro, that I want to talk to you about, because I flirted with the idea of playing another RPG in between these Sky games.
how fucking dare you?
Being like, is this the time to take a break? Let Pedro catch up. Maybe we can, um, you know, be on the same level then, and progress through the next games at the same time. Couldn't do it, but I played a little bit, and I think I might still be playing it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna shelf it or not. Scarlet Nexus.
I saw you playing this on Steam.
Um, man, I'm struggling because I love the gameplay in Scarlet Nexus. It's really fun. really quick, and it feels high energy, high production value. The story is fucking terrible, dude. I'm telling, like, it is so bad. And it's not just the story; it's the writing. The everything is so on the nose and terrible,
Mm.
and like just the dialogue is extremely cringy in the way that they're narrating these characters and giving these characters backstory. So, like, for instance, the main character and his best friend are outside, and this is the very beginning of the game, and this is the way they're setting up the characters. He's talking, and the side character responds with, "Oh, your dad. He's the head of the government, right?" And then he's like, "Your brother. Oh, that's right. Your brother, who is the head of the OSF and doesn't want you to take advantage of him. That's right. That's your brother." And like that's just how like the all the backstory is getting shoveled to me through dialogue that's not like normal people would speak. Like these two should be speaking to each other like best friends, not like they're trying to get me to hear a message. And the whole game is like that in dialogue. And we're not talking short amounts of dialogue in between. We're talking cutscenes that are akin to what we're playing in the Falcom games. Like like
Just
like
bad.
massive amounts of dialogue that's like this. And by the way, it's not animated. It's in like um comic book style, but not even like a good looking comic book, almost like the Tales games comic book.
Mm.
And it's just, dude, I don't know what I can do, because it seems like it has a really interesting like overall plot and world that has a lot of depth to it, but I can't take it. And I don't feel like it's morally okay for me to press the skip button every time a cutscene happens in an RPG. So I think I might have to shelf Scarlet Nexus forever. Because I
Yeah.
really like it. I like the gameplay, and like the character customization. I think is everything is really cool about it, but I cannot get past the dialogue.
This ironically this popped up in a couple of my like YouTube recommendations and people were talking about it. So I think you might be out on that, cuz if you're playing an RPG and you can't get into the fucking story much because of the dialogue, then you're out. What?
Yeah, I think so. I like.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today, and I'm because I put another solid like 2 hours in today.
Mhm.
And at the end of that 2 hour session, I'm like, "Oh, I just I don't think I'm enjoying this. You know?
Like I'm not having fun. Fun's not being had
No,
right
no, no. Like the fun is having when I'm in the gameplay on the missions, but then I have to wait 45 minutes in between of like the most god awful high school, not no middle school level written dialogue that I've ever seen. What I think this was I think they gave this project to like an amateur translator. It's your first day on the job. Here you go. Here's 5 million lines of script to translate. Have fun. That's what it feels like, dude. And I don't know.
now. Sounds like our
Like,
guy didn't have fun.
no, no. Scarlet
So Nexus.
Nexus
Yeah.
localization team. I mean, it was done by Bandai Namco, and I feel
Yeah,
like
but
this isn't
that
a
doesn't mean it
normal
was
thing
done
for
well.
Bandai Namco. You know?
No, usually their translations are pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, I feel
So
like I don't know.
so a game that's been on my radar because I've also been mulling over the idea of like taking a break after I finish second chapter because unlike you, like I'm starting to get a little burned out on all the bracer stuff. Like some of the shit is just like the monster quests are fine, but some of the stuff that like they have you anytime it's like a blue blanc thing, I like fucking like oh like
I hate that shit, dude. I'll be straight up with you. When I started getting burnt out on it, I just started skipping it.
okay. So yeah, I make sure I don't know why I do this because like not like there's any fucking trophies or anything, but I don't like missing out on items. And
Mm,
sometimes you get like really good items if you do all the requests. But there have been times this game fucks you like on the timelines, and I don't like that. That
yeah,
generally annoys me.
you have a very
Where
small window
yeah,
sometimes.
and then sometimes like if you don't go and check the board. Like, say if you go running off on like, say there's like 4 requests, right? And then you're running off and going to do them, and then you go to the main story. Because like usually what I do is like I'll do a bunch of them, do the little main story stuff. Then whenever the story takes me back in the town, I'll just report it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one time I went to check the board. It said this failed. I'm like, I didn't even have the fucking quest. Like, how did I fail it?
Right.
So that's annoying. I keep getting that fucking glitch where I get stuck on corners.
It's so weird because I've never had
It
that.
only happens when I like the way it happens. It's like if I'm on high speed mode, like going through a town, and I get like caught on something. It's like a corner, an edge. I'll just get stuck there,
Huh.
and it hasn't caused me any major L's. Like the most I've lost was like 30 minutes of progress one time because I forgot to save. But so it's been like it hasn't been a deal breaker, but like if you don't save, that could be a big kick in the dick.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that because
Also, I mean, it could
it's
just
so
be my
frustrating.
hardware, but I doubt
Well,
it.
'cause
Like,
you're playing on your laptop or is it your gaming PC?
oh, that's my gaming PC.
It shouldn't be. I mean, I
Yeah,
play on my gaming PC too. You know, when I'm
yeah,
at home and I'm not on the couch with Caitlin, generally I'm in here playing on my gaming PC because the Steam Cloud upload functionality, which is
yeah.
just so nice, so
Right, I
nice,
bet
dude. It
that's
happens
beautiful.
automatically.
Um, my other question was like, I've noticed, like, I ran into another weird glitch where I was in like the sewers and my frame rate dropped real low I'm like, and I didn't understand why. But then, like, when I quit the game and then restarted, it was fine. So I was
Dude, it
like,
sounds like maybe you've got some sort of DirectX issue. I'll be honest, like, because this
yeah,
game
maybe.
runs on an old version of DirectX
Ah,
8,
that could be
and
it.
I think we're on like 12 now, 12 or 13.
Mm.
And sometimes old games have trouble running on modern PCs, but I don't know. That's not fun, especially with an
I mean,
RPG where you lose progress.
yeah, I mean, it's been like minor issues, like, so like I haven't really, you know what I mean. It hasn't like hampered my gameplay experience. But because usually it like runs 60 frames beautifully, like it like most like I would say 95% of the time.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that like when I get to the third game, I don't run into any shenanigans, but I shouldn't.
What I will say is, as far as endings go, this game does ending the best, where there isn't a massive
Dungeon.
well, there is, but it's not like just one giant block of dungeons. It's almost well, you'll know it. You know by this
Yeah,
point. What I'm talking about. It's
right. I
almost
know.
like a Mortal Kombat ladder. Like you go to a
Love that.
floor and there's a boss at the end, and then you go to the next floor and there's a boss at the
Yeah.
end. Which the game kind of sets up that way, um,
Yeah.
going into it. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, we're still real big on the Kaseki series here. So getting into the meat and potatoes, the real
Wait,
reason why
real
you're
quick,
here.
real
What
quick.
we're waiting. What's up?
Um, I did get. I talked to
Oh.
Alden. He actually messaged me on Discord a month ago,
Uh
but um, I didn't get back to him because I don't use Discord ever. Again, famously hate Discord. He said, "Do you know if Pedro would accept and play a PS5 copy of Tales of Arise? Listening to the newest Alpha Nerds right now. Great job. I'd be happy to buy it for him so he can experience it."
well,
And
hang on.
I was like, I told him, I was like, I think he already has it.
We're here, my guy.
Yep,
We're
I knew
here.
it.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in playing this. But yes, wasn't talking to the mic. But I'm actually interested in playing this. I think he probably hear my comment where I'm real sleeping on the trails or not. Goddamn, the Tales series.
Probably. That was probably
Yeah.
what I mean, he sent it to me a month ago, so I don't remember what episode we were at a month ago. I mean,
How's
this is
that for
what
fucking community engagement? This motherfucker here.
this is what 13 years of podcasting does to somebody. All my opinions just blend into a pot.
Yeah. That's definitely a game that's on the docket. It's just whenever I can whenever I can forgive the God, I keep getting that fucked up. The Tales series
I do the same
because
thing.
I'll be honest, I was real burnt out on it. Real burnt out after Zillia. That hurt. We have a
Well,
couple candidates though. It's either Arise, which Arise is like 60% I'm leaning towards, but Ves- Vesperia is calling to me, and I also have Tales
Vesperia
of
is like a
Berseria as well.
Vesperia is what I would say is the Gen 2. Uh, yeah, no, I'm gonna call it the Gen 2. The Gen 2 of Tales games, right? Because you got up until like the original style, which is a
Yeah,
2D, right? And
correct.
then they switched to the 3D arena type Tales games. And
Which
then
were all good Tales games.
well, Grace's F is not a good Tales game. I hate that game.
Okay, I thought we were talking about like Symphonia. I think Legendi is a good game, but people disagree with me. And then obviously Tales of the Abyss.
Yeah, and then I would say I would throw the Zillia, and then I would say they're all part of the same generation, the longest
All right.
generation.
Yeah.
But Tales of Arise, I think, is part of like a new generation of Tales games because this game is completely different. It's not. I mean, it is. It's like an improvement upon that formula because I think you could pretty much take any of the Tales games in that Gen 2 or the characters and mix and match them, and they would all kind of fit in each other's games, right? But
Mm-hmm.
with Tales of Arise, it doesn't feel like that. It's very different. People say that this story peters out halfway through. I didn't
I
think so.
keep hearing that. I keep hearing towards the end you lose a little steam.
I didn't think so. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Also, I know we addressed this last episode. We are sorry. Star Ocean doesn't rank ahead of, I forget what we left off, Dragon Quest.
Dragon
It
Quest.
shouldn't. We are sorry. We are so sorry. What were we thinking? But yeah, it's Star Ocean: The Divine Force that's still sitting in the shrink wrap. But
Did I tell you I started that game?
no.
I started the
Oh, did you
Divine
play the
Force.
demo?
No, I bought it on Steam. It
Oh
was on
shit!
sale not too long ago, and I started it. Can't do it.
I don't think you're a Star Ocean fan, buddy.
I liked the first two, man. I played the first two on PSP. I really liked them, and I haven't played the number 3, which people say is the best one.
Oh, till the end of time
Um,
is dope.
but I liked 4 as well. Four
I
was
didn't get a chance
phenomenal.
to enjoy 4. I didn't get our
I know.
fucking villainous fucking asshole former
Ex-
coworker ruined that.
yeah, but
Let me box him.
but the Divine Force. Why do the characters look like that, man?
I don't know what's going on with Tri-Ace. Like, are they should they just go to a different, like, should Square just shut them down at that point? Like,
Take him outside the shed and just
yeah,
put him down.
yeah, like Old Yeller, take him out back, and that's the end. Because they, like, what are their budgets for games? Like, what's the resources? Because Star Ocean 4 was great. Like, the Last Hope, from what I've played of it, was fun, looked good, played well, was a deep RPG, and then Integrity and Faithlessness came out, was a fucking turd, like just unfinished, unpolished. Star Ocean: The Divine Force kind of has a little bit of that vibes, like just from the graphics. Like, I just feel like the graphics look like a fucking high end PS3 game, but
Dude, the characters are just so ugly.
they're so
Like
weird looking.
they look like dolls or something. I just
Yeah,
hate
and I
it.
just I don't get like where the disconnect. And then they made that game Resonance of Fate, which people like. I don't like that game. That game, like, is very hard to fucking learn, and I think the story's dumb. But like, I just feel like Tri-Ace has had a little bit of missteps. Like, and I
I
don't
would
really
agree with that.
know. Like, I guess I not to the same degree, but I do question what's going on at that studio, because, like, sometimes, like, some of the efforts you're getting, you're just like, what in the fuck?
Now, Pedro, have you gotten into this genre of games that is the fighting game RPG combo?
Elaborate.
I have one on my wish list here. Um, Under Night in Birth is one of them, I believe. It's made by Arc System Works,
Oh, well, it's probably a great game then.
and
Gameplay wise.
there are these fighting games, sort of like Persona,
Uh huh.
that have like deep stories, and they
Oh.
have JRPG mechanics. Oh, Fighter
Oh.
Z, I think, was like this, where you can like improve your character's level
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah. I
that, and get
loved
stronger.
Fighter Z.
Yeah, and then there's like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is
Okay.
apparently the same way. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, I'll be straight up, looks
Are
like
they?
the exact same game as Fighter Z because there's even like the chibi world map models.
Yeah. Are they like only PC games? Okay.
Grand
That
Blue
makes
Fantasy
sense.
Versus is
No, the first one you named.
Under Night In-Birth. I
Yeah.
think Under Night In-Birth came to PS4. I think it's rare.
All right.
Let me look it up.
No. Why would you say some shit like that?
Let me see. I'm looking it up. This came to PlayStation 4. It's an arcade game. Came to Amazon
Okay.
Luna, Vita, Switch, and PlayStation 3.
Amazon. Forgot Amazon had a fucking gaming platform.
No one cares about
It clearly, fuck.
that. Fucking.
I mean, I could be potentially if it's anything like Persona 4 Arena, I'd be in.
Yeah.
Like as far as the way they set that up.
I haven't played any of these yet. Well, I did play Persona 4 Arena, but that's a little different. I think that these ones are like legitimate, like you level up your stats and stuff.
Okay.
Especially apparently Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Now, this Grand Blue series, how do we feel about that? Because
I have no familiarity with it.
this is a series that has a fighting game now, a mobile game, and it's getting what looks to be a very good RPG coming out.
Ugh.
And people
Wasn't
love
there a
the
Vita game?
full game. Let me look this up. This is a major Chinese game though. Grand Blue.
The hell shell.
It's got an anime, which I didn't like.
Wow.
Watch the first episode of the anime.
Oh. Ooh.
I'm trying to figure this out. Grand Blue Fantasy games. I can't find like a list of Grand Blue Fantasy games, but there is a Grand Blue Fantasy, which is the mobile game, and there's Relink, which is the RPG coming out, and then there is the fighting game Versus. So
Okay. I could have sworn there was a Vita game that was Grand Blue Fantasy, but I could be wrong.
let me look up Grand Blue Fantasy Vita. Nope, nothing comes up. But people seem to love this series. It is developed by Psy Games, which I believe is like a subsidiary of I don't know.
Anytime I
Maybe
hear
I'm wrong.
subsidiary, I think of Yakuza, where like something gets introduced, like the Nishikiyama family, and they see like a Tojo clan subsidiary, like right under
For
it.
some reason, I thought Grand Blue Fantasy was a Chinese developed game, but I think I'm wrong about that.
I'm not familiar with that series like at all, so I would have to do a little research, have to do a little sleuthing, if you will, and maybe formulate an opinion. But I do love myself a fighting game, but these hands are starting to get old. Where like I play a fighting game for like an hour or two, and these hands we got some soreness.
You know what I found, and I actually wrote on Sacred Symbols about this. They didn't pick my question though. I have the same issue that people are complaining about with the PS5 controller. It hurts my fingers.
Oh,
It
I never had an
like
issue with
like
it.
Horizon Zero Dawn, or not Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West actually caused me like an immense amount of pain in my middle finger, my right hand, when she's like using her staff to break things down, like unlock
Okay.
doors, because of the resistance. There's so much resistance on the R2 button when you do it that you have to press really hard. And I think it's the angle on the PS5 controller and the way you
Yeah,
hold it.
maybe.
But there's a lot of people writing in that the PS5 controller is hurting their hands, and I don't know.
I would say the biggest issue I'm having right now is, I guess it's called gaming thumb,
Gaming
where
thumb. Never heard of it.
where so this ligament right here, like on my thumb, like where the bone and you can like feel the tendon,
Mm-hmm.
like is always fucking sore. Like it just hurts all the time.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like right in there. And I remember Dustin saying he had the same issue where like this tendon just feels like irritated all the time. And I feel like I always have to like stretch it out. But yeah. So that's why like, the fighting games get a little difficult for Daddy.
I see. Maybe it's time for me to retake reclaim my throne on Street Fighter.
That'll
Street
never
Fighter
happen.
6.
Let's not get stupid. Yeah, no, I just feel like I don't know. I'm always interested to get into a fighting series, especially kind of gets the juices going. But if
Mhm.
it's got a good story, then I'm in. I love me a good story attached to a fighting game.
Yeah, I
Which
agree.
famously, the Street Fighter story is awful. Mortal Kombat has that, like, not even close.
Because I feel like with Street Fighter, they just kept adding to it, and then they started doing like interquels that didn't make any
Yeah.
sense, and I don't know.
So, did I ever tell you the theory I had about games? I don't think we've ever talked about this. So, you and I, more so me, but you fall into this category too. Like, we're '90s kids,
Yeah,
and games didn't have stories really when growing up. Like, yeah, you know your Final Fantasies or your Fantasy Stars and shit like that. But a lot of games were like, hey, this is the game, this is the premise, and we're gonna go. And then if they made a sequel, the sequel would always be completely different than the first game because they were trying to do something fresh.
right.
And I feel like maybe as games developed, like maybe mid '90s, late '90s, and RPG started to boom. Especially like the SNES RPGs, like the 16-bit era, started to see games with like more weighted stories. But even then, a lot of those stories weren't like deep. They're just like people have a lot of nostalgia for them. But games that like older franchises, like they had to retcon stories into. So if you look at a game like we talked about last or a couple shows ago, The Legend of Zelda, which funny thing about that, my buddy Adam finally started watching the show, and he got he I wouldn't say upset, but he was like, "You didn't mention that I had over 100 hours in this game." I'm like, "But I forgot." But yeah, Adam, my buddy Adam, he like he famously like just fucking churns the hours into these games, and he remember when we said like the Nintendo fans have like a sickness.
Yeah,
Yeah, he coined it Nintendards.
Nintendards. I love that.
So shout out to Adam for that. If we
I'm
get sued,
trying. I'm trying not to be as mean directly to some of my friends that are playing Tears of the Kingdom. They're really excited for it.
no,
Like
they can be excited. They can be excited.
one of my coworkers came in and like this is a guy that like I trade shifts with. So like
Yeah.
we have a very shaky relationship because we're both leads, right? So like we're constantly like if something's wrong at the start of my shift, I'm like, oh, fucked me, you know. And our crews are always warring it out. So like we have a very shaky relationship. And he sat down and he's like, ah, 2 weeks, my day's coming. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. That's great. Went back to my business. I'm like, oh God, I wish I could just relay how my opinion on how these games just don't live up to what they're supposed to be. And I can't.
But
I
yeah,
can't do
I
it.
get it. But like, I just feel like games, especially older franchises, had stories like retconned into them that don't make any fucking sense. They're like make it make sense. Someone fucking make this make somewhat sense, and let's fucking move forward. But then there are companies that were smart, like for as dumb as a company that Midway was, they did Mortal Kombat story like intelligently.
Well,
Like
okay,
whoever
so here
developed that lore, gold star.
okay, so here's my question, right? The Street Fighter timeline
Doesn't make any sense.
isn't two like at the end?
It's supposed to be, but then like it. So it's hard to fucking explain. So two is supposed to be like at the end of the timeline, but then they have the Alpha series, which is supposed to be them when they're like all kind of young,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Street Fighter, what the fuck is it? Street Fighter 3 happens after. It gets nonsensical. And then 4 is supposed to be before 3 because Dudley's in it, I think. But then like
Oh, okay,
6 is.
okay.
I'm so lost.
No, okay, so here's how this goes. It goes one, alpha, two, four, five, and then three. Three is the last one. And then six I think is gonna be the last one. The reason I
Yeah.
thought two was last was because Ryu's story like ends at two, right? Like nothing really happens. He's the main character
No.
of the franchise, and I don't think anything happens to Ryu significant after two.
They've tried to replace Ryu as the main character of that franchise like several times, and they can't do it.
I mean, he's the classic. You can't replace Batman. Everyone's tried it. Um, but at the end of two, he beats Sagat,
Correct. Leaves
and
that scar on him.
even Akuma is in Street Fighter Two, right?
Correct.
And you fight Akuma, and that's like the whatever. So I don't really understand what they were doing with the plot, because even in the anime takes place during two, right?
Street
So
Fighter 2, the anime is sweet. That's a sweet fucking movie.
and they made an alpha
Street Fighter.
anime.
Yeah, and that was awesome too. I remember watching that along with Mortal Kombat cartoons in the 90s. Great stuff.
The only scene I remember is Akuma standing at the bottom of the ocean and then kicking like an aircraft carrier in half on top of the
Correct.
ocean.
Yep.
I'm like, whoa, let's go.
Right. Good stuff. I love classic 90s like and late 80s campiness.
Now,
So,
hold on. 'Cause I gotta ask you a question, because I have heard that the main character in King of Fighters could solo Ryu. Is that true?
yes.
Whoa. What are we talking about here?
Dude, he would fucking
The
he
dude
would
with the
end Ryu.
hat?
Terry Bogard. He would fucking fuck Ryu shit up.
Okay, all right. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I'm a big
All
Terry
right.
Bogard guy. It just sucks because like you can't like when you when you buy King of Fighter stuff, you're basically supporting Iraq and
Well,
or Iran,
Saudi
excuse me.
Arabia.
Yeah, them. And I mean, hey, they we're not going to touch that. It's just it's just shady dealings. But I do love Terry Bogard. He's a fucking stud, and he would solo Ryu in a heartbeat.
Sorry, I
Don't
keep
at me.
interrupting you.
So
Go
moving
ahead.
on to the meat and potatoes of the show for like 45 minutes in, I see here on our show notes, our little doc,
Yeah.
Microsoft confirms the departure of longtime Halo franchise director Frank O'Connor, who worked on Master Chief's games for 2 decades. Quoted, "We thank Frank for his numerous contributions to the Halo franchise. We wish him well going forward." So
Yeah.
when I read that little excerpt, I feel like he got shit canned.
I don't know. I don't know what this is, but what I can say is that the state of the Halo franchise is in disarray,
It's done.
and
It's dead.
I think it's time for them to step back for a while. Now, I you probably don't know this about me. I used to be a huge Halo fan. I was huge into Halo on the Xbox and Xbox 360. Um, Halo 3 might be one of my highest playtime games of all time. And I was actually really into the competitive online shooting, which is not my personality at all, but it was back then. And Reach for me is what killed the Halo franchise. I think
Really,
that
Reach is a good game.
I loved the campaign in Reach, but I thought the online multiplayer fell flat.
Yeah.
They made a huge change in Reach with the addition of the battle rifle, and how that's what you
Yeah,
started with in multiplayer matches, and every single multiplayer match then became a headshot match.
correct.
And I was not a fan of that. That was not how I played. I was a run and gun type. So I was like shotgun and energy sword type, right? Like I was coming at you.
Yeah,
So
you probably got mopped the fuck up.
in Reach, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't fun for me. So I stopped playing Halo pretty much at Reach. But I always respected like the story of Halo.
Yeah.
And then I go back and find that people really didn't like the stories in 4 and 5. And then
Oh god, they were brutal.
in Infinite, people weren't. I
Infinite.
didn't play the campaign, but I heard that it was decent, but not
Yeah.
as
So,
so
so I don't know if I've said it on this show, but Halo Infinite's campaign, in my opinion, was I put it right up there. Well, okay. Now I'm gonna say this, and we might get shit for, or I might, which whatever. I put it a step below 3 for starters, but it's Halo Reach good, Halo 3 ODST. It's like right in that area for me, and that's not bad. That's a good
Okay.
campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
I enjoyed that campaign,
No, Reach is
but
great. ODST is
yeah,
great.
but I will say, Halo 4. I have good memories with 4, but that's only because like I played the campaign with friends. Like the story wasn't really great, but the experience of going through the campaign with my buddies was what I liked. And then 5 was, I don't think about 5. 5's the fucking worst game in the series by far.
Whoa.
Dude, it
Yeah,
sucked.
I didn't play 5. I played a little bit
We
of
were
4.
living in Lockhaven when I played 5, and I'm like, this game fucking sucks.
That's with Lock, right? That's the Lock
Yeah,
game.
and they that marketing they fucked all up, like where they made it seem like Spartan Locke and Master Chief were beefing. No, that's not even what happens at all, at all. Like, and it's just like they built it up, and then you don't even get remotely an iota of that. And it's stupid. Halo 5 is fucking brutal. 343 should be in jail
So my theory on this is that this guy either got fired,
or
but
told to
I don't
fuck
think he
off.
got I don't think he got fired. I think he probably quit because he's like, well, it's probably time for me to walk out of here. I mean, he may have retired. I don't know how old that guy is, but 2 decades
Yeah,
is a long
I
time to
mean,
work on a franchise.
and let me preface this. Like, I'm using a bit of hyperbole with some of these extreme opinions, but like the state of Halo right now is so sad to see because, and I think this is, I don't even know if it's on 3-4. It is on 343, but I think it's on Microsoft as a whole. Like, what are you letting happen to your franchises? Like this game, it, so I get so frustrated talking about this because like you, I was a big Halo fan, played the first one, it blew my dick off. I was like, oh, this game's fucking great. And then, Halo 2, great. Halo 3, funny story about Halo 3. My my buddy Nick, and at the time, like me, Nick, Adam were all no, Adam was in college, so I don't think he came home for this. And me and Nick were in high school, and I remember my dad thinking he was slick. My dad called Nick's dad, and he's like, "Hey, these guys might skip school when this game comes out." So like, my dad
What
sat
the
me down.
fuck?
Yeah, because they work together. Our dads work together. Uh, so my dad and his dad like talking, and then like both at the same time, like they sat us down. When we were in our own houses, they're like, "Yo, don't be skipping school for this game coming out. Like, we're gonna fucking know." It gets better. So the day Halo 3 comes out, we skip school. out of
And
out of spite. Like, don't fucking tell us not to do it. We weren't even planning on doing it. But like, yeah, don't talk. Like, I didn't even have a 360, so I don't know how I was skipping school for Halo 3. But Nick did, and like, so the day it came out, we fucking skipped school. We're at his house. The good old days.
dude, how much did you skip high school? Like, how many days of high school did you skip?
Okay. So freshman year, sophomore year, didn't really skip school much. Like, I didn't really at all, because like if I skip school, I found out like, yeah, you'd be playing video games all day, but then like all your buddies were at school, so you're kind of bored. But okay, so senior year, the PlayStation 3's out, and I just got in Call of Duty 4. Football season had just ended. I was a senior this time, so football season ended. So any reason like I would have had to go to school and like miss games or anything like that was out the window. I had just gotten accepted into college, so
You were
I
already in.
yeah, so I skipped like 3 weeks of school consecutively, and all I would do every day was play Call of Duty 4. And by the end of that time period, where like, because I also got smart, where like the school, I don't know if they schools still do this now, but they like, oh, list your parents' contact info and their email. Okay, dumbasses. So
Yeah.
like the contact info was my cell phone, my email. Uh, we like the answering machine we never used. So like they would try to leave messages and it was full because my dad never fucking like ever checked it or like deleted messages, so like he would get more. So for 3 straight weeks, I just didn't go to school, and then finally, what made me go to school was we got a letter in the mail that was like they threatened to like charge my dad with like neglect for truancy.
Oh, the truancy officer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I can't have my dad fucking. He would kill me. So I'm like, all right. Well, because my dad like worked for the federal government, so like it was like I'd be
Yeah.
fucking all types of dead. So like, all right, I'll go to school. But you know what I will say? By the end of that, 10 prestige.
Legend, living legend. Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to skip school all the time. I mean, like people. Listen, man. People were always talking up high school grades and how much they mattered and whatnot. But I knew I was going to Penn College, which had open enrollment. As long as you had a diploma or a GED, you were in at Penn College. You just took a placement test,
yeah,
right? So I knew all I had to do was graduate in high school. I could slide out the bottom as long as I could graduate. So like my senior year, I would drive myself to school, right? But dad would leave before me, and I would get home before dad. So there was days where I woke up, I'm like, I'm not going to school today. It's not
yeah.
happening.
See, here's the thing. So kids think like having a fucking car in high school is sweet. It's actually not that sweet because like that's what always would get you fucking caught. Because my buddy Jimmy, he would always skip school too. But the reason he would get us fucking caught, he drove this blue fucking Civic, and
The most stick
the
out
one time,
car.
yeah, the one time he came over to my house and like his dad, I guess I don't know what happened, but his dad like drove by and seen his car in the fucking driveway.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's just like or like you couldn't fucking go anywhere because like
Hmm.
yeah, so like not having a car because I didn't have a car in high school. It was great because nobody knew I was fucking stealth mode. Nobody knew where the fuck I was.
um. Yes, but like I didn't skip as much in like my freshman or sophomore years. But when I did, it was because my mom would drop me off at school, and she would go to work right after.
You just
So like
walk home.
my mom would drop me off at the front door. I'd walk through high school, walk out the back door, and just walk home. Yeah.
Um, now one of my favorite things in high school, like doing that, was sometimes like because even freshman sophomore year I'd skip, but like it would feel so good where you're just like balls deep in a video game all fucking day, uninterrupted, not a
Hmm.
fucking care in the world. I will full disclosure, there are sometimes like I do it as an adult, like the amount of times I've skipped work to like just to fucking go balls deep into a video game is probably not okay. But but I'll give you a couple examples. There's one, and it's always a random game that does it for me. It's always like a random game. So one time I was playing Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age.
Mm.
Was playing Final Fantasy 12. Uh, played it one day on one of my days off. Had a good time with it. Played it a little bit the next day. Like, yeah, I'm into this. So usually I only get 2 days off a week for work. And I was like, you know what? I'm fucking into this. I just started picturing myself like, all right, I could fucking sit at home all day, play some Final Fantasy 12. I'm feeling this. So I like
You got
took,
the itch. You get the I'm gonna go deep itch.
yeah, I got that itch. So I took like fucking 4 days off.
Nice.
Like played all through Final Fantasy 12. There was a couple years ago with Bloodborne it happened with where I was just like playing Bloodborne. I had my nice TV and I was like fucking on the couch. This was like maybe 2-3 years ago. That maybe might have been two. Was it? No, it was like 3 years ago because I still had my PS4. And I'm sitting there on the couch just playing Bloodborne. I'm getting levels. I'm killing bosses. I'm like, and I had to go to work the next day. I'm like, I ain't fucking going to work. Then I go, you crazy?
Yeah, it's
So
gonna
I
ruin
stayed.
my whole vibe.
Yeah, so I stayed home, and then the last time I did it was playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm.
I was like, I started it late, like one night before I had to go to work, like the next day, and I'm like, nah. Also, I used to take half days on Tuesdays because that was reset day for Destiny. I just
Oh,
leave it.
jeez.
I'll just leave it 12. Like, yo, I'm out. See ya.
Oh my god. Yeah. I wish I could get into Destiny. I really want to get into it. But as you've told me, it's too late. I've
It's
missed
too
my
late for
bus.
you. You missed the
Yep,
bus.
it's okay.
Yeah. Now, do you still play hooky? Be honest with me.
No, not anymore. Well, because like I can't really because I drive Caitlin to work now, right? So
Mm.
I still gotta go there, and that's really awkward because that's happened a few times where like I've called in, I've been legitimately sick, but I
Then
still
you
have to
drive her to
drive.
work.
I
Yeah,
have to
that's
drive her to
awkward.
work, so everyone sees me drop her off, and that's really awkward. Usually, I drop her off at the gate and make her walk in because I'm like, I'm not going in there. It's a
Yeah,
bad look for me.
yeah. No, that's the shit that sucks when you move up in the leadership roles. You got to be like, oh fuck.
Yep, yep. Um, but I get so many days off at this current job, dude. I literally get half the year off. So, I mean, I really don't need any extra days off, to be honest with you. Like, I know that even if a game comes out on a day that I work, I'm most likely gonna have like the next 2 or 3 days off, depending on what day it comes out. So I'm like, I'm good.
See, I I'm in the position, and this is a nice position to be in, but as a working for the entity that I work for, we have like hours that accrue and stuff like that. So I have like annual time. I have like over 500 hours, and then sick time. I have almost like 300. So like, if I really, really
Crazy.
want a day off, I can just take whatever fucking day off I want, and like
Yeah, that's
fuck it.
nice.
I don't really do it much anymore, just because like now we're having like weekends off. There's like, all right, like I have my nights and my weekends. Are like, so is there really, really a reason for me not to go? Like, no, like, like I leave on time every day. So like,
Hmm.
as you get older and your life gets better, like you kind of just don't really need to do that anymore. But it
Yeah.
is nice occasionally to just fucking, fuck this ain't going today.
I agree. I
So
agree.
yeah, but with Halo, because we got a little off track there, my bad. With Halo, I just feel like it needs fresh blood, and what my hope is that the new fresh blood that's injected to the series are people that have love for the series and grew up with it just like you and I did. So like, I feel like once you're starting to get people our age getting their hands on that franchise, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of return to form. Like I feel the same way about like Metal Gear. Like I feel like Konami right now could probably find enough people that like love Metal Gear that could probably do that franchise some justice.
Well, I
Like
feel
if
like
they were to put out
Konami
another one.
Konami just needs to stop dicking around and make the Metal
Yeah.
Gear 1 remake, you know? Like that's been
Yeah,
rumored forever.
I feel like they're just afraid of the backlash because like the minute they make a mainline Metal Gear that doesn't have Kojima involved, people are gonna snap the fuck out. I won't be one of them as much as I love Hideo Kojima, but like I feel like people are gonna snap out when they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just a remake though, you know? So, the story's already written, it's already happened, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Michael Barclay says Star Wars Battlefront 3 got canceled 2 yards from the finish line. So what the fuck is that
So,
about?
have you ever heard about this, the original Battlefront 3?
No.
So, the original Battlefront 3 was in active development, and it was like a Star Wars 1313 situation, but even further
Uh,
along, where this game was so far along that it was apparently playable. And
wow.
there's been over the last few years like a ton of leaked content that this was going to be like a huge like a what if game almost. So you had things like light side Darth Vader, dark side Obi-Wan Kenobi, dark side Luke Skywalker, dark side Yoda, all these like really cool concepts and artwork, that were going to be like playable characters in this game, things that would make the Star Wars fandom super happy. And then the Disney deal came through, and all those games got shut down. And I'm pretty sure that's when the game got shut down. But um, we haven't. I mean, that Star Wars 1313 was the same way. That game looked so cool, but it just wasn't gonna happen once Disney got the reins because they wanted complete control over everything that was happening in that fandom at the time. Now, so I don't speak out the wrong side of my mouth,
So I
because
feel like
people have like tried to
with
remake this game.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That like people have like there's been like a demo that leaked and whatnot, and people have like trying to get this thing out the door, but apparently it hasn't really happened. Oh no, this cancellation happened in 2008. They were trying to rush it out, and the LucasArts judged that Free Radical was unable to deliver on its August and September milestones.
Don't you feel like with and maybe that like you kind of alluded to this with like with the Star Wars IP that there have been some cancellations or like just decisions made with that IP that are just kind of out of left field. Like recently, we're dealing with the KOTOR situation where they fucking shit canned that game. Whatever state that game was in, they were like, "Yeah, fuck this, out, out, out." But then I remember at that same time period, wasn't there going to be another Rogue Squadron game that got canceled? Like
Hmm.
Rogue Squadron 3 was supposed to be like a Wii game that got fucking shit canned. Like you said, Star Wars 1313, Battlefront 3. But here's the counter argument I make for that. Do we miss it?
Um, for this game in particular, I would say yes. This game, because dude, think about like what we got after this game. You know, I mean,
Nothing
there was
great.
nothing we got until pretty much just now. Like, we pretend Fallen Order was a great game, right? But it's adequate,
It
is
was a
what it
good first
is.
step. It was a good first step.
It's
At its
adequate.
moments.
We have not had a phenomenal Star Wars game since Battlefront 2. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I will say this, and this is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but aside from KOTOR and debatably the Battlefront games, like I like them, but like they're okay. I felt like most of the time Star Wars games have been kind of mid,
They have. No, you're
and
absolutely
that
right.
includes and that includes Republic Commando. Don't at me.
That's absolutely a perfect statement. There's been a ton of them, and most of them have been either bad or like okay.
Yeah.
Even the ones that were great for their time, like the Jedi Knight trilogy, they have not
Yeah.
aged well. They're almost
No.
like I think they're like impossible to play.
Yeah, I don't
But
like those games.
I did want to read this one paragraph on the wiki. Steve Ellis, who is the co-founder of Free Radical, the people that were developing the game, would claim that the game was almost finished. He says, "We had a 99% finished game that needed bug fixing for release." That's it, that end quote. This statement in particular was what pushed the ex LucasArts employee to reach out to GameSpot in the first place, calling it bullshit and giving his own generous estimate of 75% of a mediocre game. Ellis would respond that the leak video showed that the game was content complete and that all was left to do was to fix bugs. He said the completion rate of the game would be calculated based on the number of bugs open in database, with a possible release date being predicted on the rate of bug fixing versus the rate of bug discovery. At the time of cancellation, the major bugs would have been handled in under 3 to 4 weeks. Ellis recognized that 99% was an exaggeration, and it was closer to 97 to 98%. So I mean, that's how close this game was to
Wow.
release, and they fucking canceled it. I can't imagine the amount of money they just flushed down the toilet
Right.
to cancel that.
That
Now
sucks too.
it sounds like there was major beef between Free
Yeah,
Radical
it
and
sounds like
LucasArts.
that. Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah, this is. Oh, and by the way, this Michael Barclay, the lead designer at Naughty Dog, is the one that is saying now that the Battlefront 3 was canceled 2 years before finish.
Wow.
He probably has some insider information, but if you look like at the leaks of this game, it looks phenomenal. Like it looks really cool. So it sucks we never got it.
I wish NDAs weren't a thing, man. Because fucking, you know, some of the stories that probably are like
Oh
untold.
my god, crazy! And I'm surprised more of this stuff doesn't leak. You know?
Yeah, I wish more of it would. Like, I would love to hear some of the stories of shit that got like ideas that never came to fruition, or just like shit that like happened behind closed doors. Because at some point, you got to think NDAs got to fucking expire, right? Like,
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know.
because like, ah, man, some of the stories, and that leads me to the next topic I see here. So we're saying like the games that that never got off the cutting room floor. So
Mhm.
what games would we like to see you made in our dream world? So we have a utopia, if you will.
Yeah.
What do you haven't put out?
What's your perfect game that you can see like that if you had like godlike powers you have created?
Yeah.
Um The one I want to shout out is the one we talked about last week on the podcast. Is the Falcom fighting game. I
Yeah.
think that needs to happen. I think we need to get Arc System Works in there with Falcom and being like, hey, because dude, like you can see these characters and you can like imagine what they would look like in a fighting game, right? Like
I feel
incredible amounts of fighting game potential there.
I feel like that's not too far off in the cards. Like I feel like that's actually fairly realistic of happening, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I do too. I mean, you would imagine, but you know, also why hasn't it happened yet? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So for me, I would do something simple, something along the lines like you were saying, but just take Falcom and just merge them with Square. Like give, give them. So give them. Okay, let me phase it this way or phrase it this way. Give Falcom Square Enix's resources.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
So I'm
saying.
saying like game engine, production value, keep and fire Tatsunoma more in the sun. But yeah, keep him away. Like but other than that, like give them that sort of support and see what they come up with. Because I feel like that shit would be, for lack of a better term, would be tits.
The tits. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but what I've noticed is Falcom's getting a pretty massive push right now, merchandise wise,
Yeah.
and I think they're on their way up because I think the Cold Steel games blew up that company pretty
That
far,
and
and I
East,
think
yeah.
East is catching on. So I think Falcom's on the way up. Hopefully their games start you know recognizing that. But the other thing I want to see, if I live in a perfect world, Tekken Cross Street Fighter. What happened? You know,
We never got
what
that
happened?
game.
No, and that was what I was looking forward to more, right? Because I thought Street Fighter Cross Tekken not the greatest. All right, not the greatest. Cool concept. That's what that was the right direction. I wanted to see Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which I thought was going to be a more impressive feat.
Here's one for you. So Legacy of Kane done by CD Projekt Red.
Oh, okay, love it, love it. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
As long as it's Witcher 3 CD Projekt Red and not Cyberpunk CD Projekt
Well,
Red.
because we've forgiven CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk. So like, is that the same? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
we'll see how much we've forgiven them with their next game release, though. What's it look like their next game release? That's what
Yeah.
I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see like a modern Jack and Daxter. That's
That'd
not
be
top of
great.
the list, but that's up there. I want to see the return of Jack and Daxter. I think it's important.
I think we have a
Um,
chicken dick's chance in hell of that ever happening.
yeah, it is. A Legend of Zelda game that doesn't suck. How about that?
Oh man. If we're talking Nintendo franchises, bring back F-Zero. Like, quit fucking me. I
There
love
you go.
F-Zero. I
Quit
love that's my
fucking
favorite
Pedro.
racing game. Yeah, quit fucking me. Bring back that. And then the other one I would say is a remake of or remakes of the Super Nintendo Fire Emblem games, because apparently those are some of the best ones.
Mm.
Like
Wasn't
Genealogy of the Holy War, Thracia, it's 776, I think it's called.
wasn't the last one that came out on 3DS a remake of Fire Emblem
That's a
2?
remake of Fire Emblem, yeah, Fire Emblem Gaiden, which means side story, if anyone cares.
Oh,
Uh, and yeah, that was in that same time period where like games didn't have the cohesive story. So like the sequel to something or the next game in the franchise, they would do that like wild fucking left turn. So and I evidence that because like if you look at Zelda 1, Zelda 2, completely different games.
mhm.
Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2, completely different games. And then
Mario.
even like Mario, like famously Super. Do you know the story with Mario? Speaking of
Oh
that,
wait, no, Mario 2 is a completely different game though, like legitimately
yeah.
though, right? Yeah, that's right.
Super
Yeah.
Mario. So Super Mario Brothers originally came out and like it was great, it was a hit. And then they put out Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, and that game was hard as shit. Like Shigeru Miyamoto was like, players are going to be experienced. We need to make these levels harder, more challenging. So they put that out, and then when they had it play tested in the U.S., I forget who the tester's name was. He was like, "Yo, this game's hard as fuck, dude. You can't put this game out here." So what Nintendo did, they took a game in Japan called Doki Doki Panic, I think, and they just reskinned it as Super Mario Brothers 2. So in Japan, that game, like the American Super Mario Brothers 2 is called Super Mario Brothers 2 USA, and
Oh,
for us in the United States, Super Mario Brothers 2, like the Japan version, is called Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Level.
okay. That's right.
Yeah, and
Now it's all coming together.
yeah, so those games are a kick in the dick. They're hard. This is the Lost Levels. I will say that is like fucking kick you right in the fucking nuts hard platforming.
All right. What else? The sequel to the 2008 Prince of Persia game. Been waiting
Yeah.
for it my whole life. That one. So, dude, the balls for companies to leave these games on cliffhangers and then just to not finish them, insane. All right, because most companies have like the like courtesy to release a novel or something, or like a
Right.
like an official something to finish off stories. These assholes didn't do that. They just left something off on a cliffhanger and then rebooted the series again later on. It's like, come on, you guys are terrible.
Yeah.
But that 2008 Prince of Persia game is phenomenal. Loved it.
Yeah. All right. Here's one that I think would be great. Can we have another? Can we have another fucking Fantasy Star game that isn't online?
Ooh, okay.
Like,
In your perfect world, you can.
yeah. Like, what the fuck? Or like, or here's another one in my perfect world. Like, some of these RPG franchises that just died, like, can come back. Like Lunar. Let's make another Lunar game. Like,
Yeah.
those games were great games. Give me another Dragon Force game. How about Sega? How about we don't lose the code to Panzer Dragoon Saga and we actually like update that game? Like, let's. Like,
Although
can you
me and
believe?
you came to the conclusion that Panzer Dragoon Saga not very good, right?
No, from what I played of it, no. But I
Yeah,
have
because
heard the story later in the game gets great. But that's rumors. I will. I still stand the test this year. I own a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga. Not the. Okay, let me rephrase that. I own a bootleg of Panzer Dragoon Saga. Yeah, let's not get the wrong idea here.
we're not
um,
rich, right?
No, I don't have fucking $1,000 just to piss away on a fucking Saturn game. Enjoy Discrot, you fucks. All you gatekeeping motherfuckers are like, oh, I have all the working design games. Discrot, can't wait. I like licking my chops. It's gonna be fucking delicious. You know
You're
I'm
gonna
right.
you're gonna you're gonna start seeing people in the next like couple years start vacuum sealing like their discs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's gonna be incredible.
it's beautiful. I love Discrot is the best thing ever because, and I say it for like it sucks for collectors that like truly love their games, but these fuckers who hoard shit, I just cannot wait for these games to just be fucking useless and nobody wants them because of people like you. Because and the reason I have this feeling is, you ever wonder what happens to like unsold new stock?
What do you mean?
So like games that you ever notice, like at the end of a generation, there are games like you go to Walmart, right? And there are games that just
Mhm.
never sold.
Yeah,
What happens to these games? Like they go somewhere. Like I struggle to
sure.
believe they just sit in a warehouse doing fuck all. Like I'm sure it happens in some cases, but I feel like somehow some of these like high tier collectors get these games, like they buy them at liquidation or whatever, and then they just sit on them. I know there's people that do it because famously with like have you ever heard of stadium events? It's the NES cartridge. It's like one of the rarest NES
Oh,
cartridges.
yes,
Yeah, it's like
yes.
worth stupid amounts of money. So recent, like maybe a few years ago, there was like it was selling for way too much money, and like people were like, "Oh, this game is like so rare. I need this amount of money." And then there was one collector who started like, "Okay, you guys want to be dicks and like gatekeep this hobby?" He like was producing like boxes upon boxes of like sealed versions of this game, and like just fucking tanking the value of it. And
That's
he's like,
crazy.
"Yeah, I've got a few more boxes of these." So like I think you're gonna start seeing like as these old head guys who maybe own stores or like bought old retail stock, like some of this shit starts surfacing,
Hmm.
and it's gonna set the retro community on fire. It's gonna be beautiful. It may not happen in the next 5 or 10 years, but it's at some point it will happen, and I can't wait.
Well, if you remember correctly, this community already collapsed once when the PS3 games started becoming digital, the classics,
Yeah,
and that was pretty great to see because people don't remember
I
Final
remember
Fantasy
that.
VII
Used to be like a
was close
$7
to
game.
$100. It was insanely expensive to get Final Fantasy VII. It was like a grail item almost on PS1 because you couldn't play it any other way. And then the digital version came out, and all of a sudden, the actual value of where the rarity should be plummeted because the game sold like a trillion copies on PS1. It was out there, but people just knew it was in high demand, so they were charging a ton of money for it. It wasn't a rare game in any way.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where we're at now with the retro community. A lot of these communities that popped up and boomed, I think during COVID, you're gonna start seeing them collapse. We're gonna talk about the Pokemon trading card game a little later, but
Yeah.
a lot of this price inflation stuff because people were at home looking for a side hustle. It's not gonna last forever. I think that the retro community is gonna start seeing some issues here in the next few years because I mean, me and you, we're both adults, collectors that have
Uh-huh.
expendable income, right?
Correct.
We are both priced out of a lot of stuff. Hobby.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, and like I have like a lot of spendable income that I could spend on retro games, and I'm like, I'm not justifying this. This is
No, no
out of
way.
control.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no way.
morally, I just can't do it.
No.
So like that's where I'm at. And as you can see, I have no problem dropping a ton of money on dumb shit
Right.
from the case behind me, you know? Um
Mm.
so it's there's this community is going to collapse, I think. And it's going to
So
be traumatic for a lot of
I,
people.
I fucking can't wait. I'm like fucking I'm not gonna lie. I may touch myself at night thinking about it. Not gonna lie. I'm just gonna put it out there. But moving on. So because I think it's a good thing you brought up the TCG
Yeah.
space because I was recently looking at I think we talked about this on we talked about this on the last podcast about the Final Fantasy trading card game
Mhm.
and how for us we took baths on it basically. But
Yeah.
I was doing some sleuthing on Reddit, and I'm gonna at some point go through some of the decks I have and see like if there's anything worth keeping, or should I dump it, or like what I'm gonna do with that stuff because I don't really like want it just taking up space.
It's
Uh,
fair.
but I noticed like I was talking to my friend Adam, and the Magic the Gathering community, like there are cards that are worth like 10 grand,
Yeah.
which is insanity to me. But like
Yeah.
that's been consistently with Magic, like they've held their value.
Right.
But we are seeing with Pokemon, like people are selling Pokemon cards, like first edition cards, for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, and if you remember like 5 years ago, they were almost valueless.
Yes.
The reason this caught fire was because if you can trace it back, it was a COVID thing. Logan Paul
Mm-hmm.
uploaded the video of him opening the first edition packs of Pokemon cards and trying to get the first edition Charizard, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it started the spiral effect where all these kids wanted to do it, and then it expanded out into the modern cards where people were fighting and getting in fights at Target over the Pokemon cards and trying to get rare ones, and um it just made this huge bubble that I had this conversation with my sisters today because there's this massive event happening, which I'm going to talk about here in a bit, of the Pokemon trading card game, where my sisters were like, "So should we sell?" Um, then they said my nephew's cards now before the whole thing collapses, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if the prices are going to collapse. I have no idea. How am I supposed to know that? No one ever knows that, right? Um, but also, why are you trying to sell your kids cards? You know, like it
Got to
was
pay for them to
his
go to college, man.
was this their hobby that they wanted these cards, or was this your hobby that you wanted these cards to sell later for money? Because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But anyway, this photo popped up on Reddit, TikTok, and it went wild of this guy who apparently worked in the factory that made the cards, selling stacks, Pedro, this big,
Oh
like we're
no.
talking hundreds of cards that he had stolen out of packs and took them to like the local card store. Which I mean, first off, buddy, you fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line, right? Like you don't take all like because these cards he was selling, like he had specifically had what they call it the Moon
Yeah.
Bryon, the Moon Umbreon.
Mm,
It's worth several $100s.
yeah.
Like
And he had
like we're
several of them.
talking like it go upwards like $400, $500, and he had hundreds of them that he was trying to offload at this local card store. And not
Oh,
only
what a
that, he
fucking
had,
idiot! Like,
yeah, like we're talking. This may have been half the amount of the cards that were produced
yeah.
altogether, because this was supposed
Wow.
to be like the rarest card out of the pack, and then we had the Rayquaza and these special edition Mews and stuff like that. This guy was doing this for a long time, and more pictures have come out of people like showing like, hey, this has been an issue for years. So now like the community is up in flames, like trying to burn the Pokemon company to the ground, or like demanding class action lawsuits, and like how much money did we spend on all these packs trying to get rare cards, and they weren't there to begin with and no one was checking. And
That's on the employee though. Like how the fuck are they supposed to know?
well, it is, but it's also, would it not be the company's fault that they did not notice that this employee was stealing hundreds of
Well,
cards from them? I mean,
I guess yeah, to a degree, yeah. If you don't have any cameras, or I don't know how he did it, but like I don't know how you would verify which. Like I feel like it's all randomized what packs go into or what cars go into what packs or how many. Like, I don't
well,
know.
it is, but the packs are coded in some way, right? Because if you open a pack of Pokemon cards, they have a card in the back, and it
Mm.
has like a different design if there's a rare card in it.
Mm.
The card in the back is like a worthless card. It just is like but if it's
It's like an
all white,
indicator. Yeah.
if it's all white, it means there's a rare card in there. If it has a green
Mm.
stripe, it means you're gonna get like some nonsense, some crap. So there is like a certain amount of packs that they send out that have rare cards in them, and they have the rates for these cards public. So like, you're gonna get a hollow like rainbow rare in once in every box. So that rate is supposed to be in there, and they know how these cards get spaced out, but they weren't doing that, and people have been complaining for years, saying like, hey, um, we've been spending a ton of money getting these packs, and we haven't been getting the cards we're supposed to, and you just chalk up to bad luck. But it turns out, no, they were right. Like these cards just weren't out in the wild, and this guy was like hoarding them, and then several other people were doing the same thing. Um,
Wow.
and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that
So
makes me
I
like
don't
a
know.
giant piece of shit. Like it's supposed to be like the TCGs. I at heart, it's a kids game. Obviously, grown ass
Yeah,
men play it, but like you're ruining the fucking medium for people.
yeah. So I think it's crazy what's
Guys
happening
should be
right now.
castrated.
Just castrated, because
Yeah,
people are
what a
like
dick.
posting these images of dudes with hundreds of these cards at card stores. Just
Yeah, how stupid! But how stupid could some of these guys be? Like, oh, like let me go to this local card shop who probably like won't get suspicious that I have fucking hundreds of copies of this card. Like I'm that lucky. Fuck
hmm
out of here! Like, come on, dude.
yeah. Someone just
What
posted
what country was this? Was this in the U.S.?
yeah. This is in the U.S.
Oh wow.
Um, another one just got posted today of some dude with a whole long box full of these rainbow rare Mews. Like
No fucking way, dude.
we're talking. Hang on, I'm gonna send you this link. Like we're talking about maybe most of the Mews that were supposed to go out in the wild. I sent you a link on Facebook. Like
So,
look
so,
at all
so
the fucking cards in that pack.
these guys are like comically stupid. Then, like, like
Yeah,
there's no way that you can sit here and be like, oh, I'm this dumb that oh, is this a video?
yeah, it's a video, and it's showing that like this guy going through this massive box of these
Yeah.
Mew cards, and
What a
it's like,
fucking dick.
yeah, dude. And then like people are saying like, I'm not buying any more packs until the Pokemon company says something, and it's like, this is insane.
Oh, so wait, did the guy who stole them posted this, or the guy when they caught him they posted it?
I think it's when they caught him.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, I
What
mean
an
we're talking about
asshole.
thousands and thousands of cards that this guy
What
sold
a fucking
off the line.
asshole.
And and like the thing is that people don't really know how long this has been going on or how bad it got. You can assume it's when the boom happened during
Yeah.
COVID, but posts are getting taken down because that's all people are talking about, and they're calling it Fusion Gate. Just like
That's fucking nuts, dude. I so here's my here's I guess the official alpha nerd take stance on the show. If you're into your medium and you're into your hobby, but you're so into your hobby to the point where it becomes criminal, then like you have a fucking problem.
yeah, this is gonna hurt the Pokemon trading card game pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that sucks. And here's the thing with like Pokemon though, because like even the VGC is like fucked too, because like with all the hacking and all that other stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, the Pokemon Company, and this is again, you Nintendards out there, you got to clean up your company here. Like this is like how does this happen? Like how does this happen? Like and I'm sure the Pokemon Company hasn't said anything. There's been no statements. So
Nope.
like so you're just gonna have this just wave of negative PR just coming out where people are accusing you of fucking up rates and they feel like they wasted their money. And the number one thing with consumers, like you don't want your consumers to feel like they got fucking burned. Like the minute your
Right.
consumers feel burned, that's when you start losing business.
Right.
And I don't know, that's a little wild, dude. Like, but again, like the person who got caught either did it on purpose to fucking one of those guys like, oh, it's not about the money, it's about the message, but or not, but like, or they're just like comically stupid.
Yeah, because like I don't know how to I gotta else I can explain it, but however many cards people are thinking this guy is stole and it brought to a local game store for them to pay him out, like double it. And
Yeah,
we're talking like an insane amount of cards that the game store would not even have. We're talking
yeah, they wouldn't have
hundreds
that
of
kind of.
thousands
They
of
wouldn't have that
dollars.
kind of. They wouldn't have that kind of capital on hand. Like, so, like, how stupid would you be? Like, if you were really gonna do that, right? Let's go. We're gonna go criminal intent 101 with alpha nerds. Like, you would leak that slowly over time. Like, oh, I put this on eBay this year. I sold it for X amount of money. Next year, I
Right.
sold another one. Like, that would be like your slow trickle side hustle for the next however fucking many times you have the cards. Like, if
Right.
you were going to do that. Or if you wanted to be fucking ballsy, like mix in a couple other cards with it, bundle it. Like, oh, I have these cards for sale with this bundle, blah, blah, blah. And you would just do that periodically for however long you want. But like for you to walk into a game store, a local game store, and be like, "Oh, I have a box of fucking Mews that are worth hundreds of dollars each, and I have several of them, like usually a
Yeah.
large amount. I'm that lucky. I pulled them. I pulled this many out of this many packs. You're full of shit."
Yeah.
And so they probably what they called the cops. Like what they do? Like
I don't know. I don't know how that particular story ended, but
because
I don't
they
think they
ended up with
called
the
the
cards.
cops.
Like did they buy them? Like
I don't know. I don't know what happened. But from what I understand, the pitch. So this video I sent you today.
yeah.
This the latest one. The picture that's
Oh,
been
okay.
going around like the last few days. That was taken by the game store employees when this guy sat down to like sell them.
Yeah.
So I don't. I think they may have rejected it and then like posted it online because I mean they couldn't afford it anyway. No one can afford
Right.
a game
I
store.
probably would have just called the cops. So I'd been like, yeah, like, hey, let me call our owner real quick and just call the police.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, like,
I,
dude, like,
I'm
these are
assuming
fucking
that guy
stolen.
is. I'm assuming that guy's probably gonna get arrested or
Yeah, that's
definitely
like a fucking
fired.
that dude. That's you can end up in state prison for retail theft.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy.
because I think it has to exceed a retail amount of like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you fucking steal shit from your employer or otherwise that equates to being thousands of dollars worth of merch, you're gonna go to fucking jail.
yeah.
Like that's fucked, man. A special fuck you to that guy. So, all right. Moving all right along here. I've noticed now that we're talking about like just shit going bad. Sony,
Hmm.
they're killing dreams. Thoughts?
It was time. Should have happened a long time ago.
Was it time though?
Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Let it die.
Here's my thing though, like why I don't get the initiative as far as like what they were thinking. Like it's a cool game engine. I remember on the show here, like maybe the first 2 weeks of the show, I was like taking the time to go into Dreams and find cool creations for people to
Hmm.
check out. And then after a while, I just got burnt out on it. Like this is like a waste. Like, it wasn't a waste of my time, but like I had better shit to do. And I felt like I was trying to save like something that was dying. I was trying to on our little platform here give a little love to like people who don't get talked about or just I had good intentions, but I just felt like the game wasn't being supported, and it came out so fucking late in the PS4's life cycle that it almost couldn't be. And the thing that I thought that they were doing with Dreams that was really cool was, you remember during like the state of play, like the little interstitials, like they were like, oh, this was made in Dreams, and they'd have like something go on as like a transitional video. I thought that was cool. What they should have done was Dreams. Same thing with like PlayStation or the Astrobots Play World or whatever it was. Should have been like a pack-in title with the PS5. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
hey, this is free for you to fuck around with. Like, I paid $40 for Dreams.
I think I paid
Yeah,
full
we
price for
both paid full price for Dreams, so that's a fat fucking L. Thank you, Sony.
it.
And like, but they should have been like a pack-in title. Like, same thing with the Play World. Like, here's what you can do, because like people have made really cool fucking things on Dreams. Not even gonna hold you, they've
Absolutely.
made some really fucking cool things. The other thing they fucked up, you can't use mouse and keyboard on that.
Yep.
And
And it
that's
sucks
fucking
using the
bullshit.
controller.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yep.
bullshit. So like those are two major fuck ups with that game, because that's what killed Dreams for me. I remember um I thought would be a funny idea was like, we're gonna develop an Alpha Nerds video game, something dumb. I was gonna make something real dumb, like a dumb platformer or something. But I couldn't work the controller. Like I can't do that. Like I
Yeah.
can't develop a game. So like I feel bad for the guys who like sit there and develop like painstakingly crafted worlds. I'm like, for y'all who did that in Dreams, y'all are real ones, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this show who made a game in Dreams, hit your boy up, DM us. I'd like to talk to you. Have a little
And
interview.
just to be clear too, by the way, they're just stopping support and like patches and stuff. The servers are still going to be live. You can still make things and publish them and download other games, but that the servers are going to die in the next few years. Probably it's over for
Yeah, it
Dreams.
sucks, and like it should have been like, and it's something where like who do the blame game, like. Do we blame Media Molecule? I say yes. And then do
Yeah,
you blame Sony? I say yes, because like Sony clearly didn't believe in this project, but they let Media Molecule do it.
yeah.
Why? I don't know.
This should have been canceled a long time ago. I'll be honest, and it should have been canceled when it was supposed to be a launch window game for the PS4, and
And it just
then
never
it just
came.
never came. So I don't know.
Yeah, so think about that. You spent all that time fucking developing assets and rule sets for the engine, all that, and then you're gonna fucking stop support for it. Like, what was the point of that then? What was
I
the
have no
point?
idea. Dreams is a wild story, and I'm sure we're gonna hear what went wrong someday. But I can tell you that I thought it was really cool. It was a really powerful engine. You could
Yeah,
do a
I
lot of
loved
really
it.
cool stuff with it. But I just you couldn't like I think on Sacred Symbols they were talking about this week. Dustin brought up you couldn't export the games, so they were
Yeah,
stuck on Dreams. You
right.
couldn't make
Yeah, and that
them
sucks too.
independent. Um, so it's like, well, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time developing a game in Dreams just so that no one can ever see it or play it. You know?
Yeah, and here's the thing that's weird about these style of games, because I feel like RPG Maker falls like in that same mythos where like these games don't seem to be like their creation tools, but then like you can't really. I don't know if you can export stuff with RPG Maker
Yeah,
or
you
Game
can.
Maker or whatever, but like I don't know. I just feel like these games like aren't really they're like half baked.
Yeah,
I
I would agree.
guess.
I would agree.
Talking about just so I can transition the conversation. I don't remember.
We were talking about Dreams.
All right, yeah. So
Your short
in
break.
closing, like I said, I felt like those games were a little bit half baked, and I don't know. It's sad to see that they're going to cut online support, because I feel like game was overall fun. Like I enjoyed it. Maybe I might check it out just to go down a nostalgia trip there. But moving right along. Any closing thoughts on Dream, sir?
No, I hope Media Molecule is okay. I hope they're not in the chopping block. Let's get a real game out of you guys.
Yeah, that isn't fucking Little Big Planet. But anyway, um, moving on to our misconduct list. Number one, forever and always, Mr. Robert Sweely, always on the misconduct.
Naturally,
Yeah,
every day.
we love you, you fucking asshole. Play something other than Kingdom Hearts or WoW, dickhead. Anyway, uh, Creator Clash. So I didn't order the fights just because once I saw that they fucking straight up dismissed the dude that Chris was supposed to fight over. I don't want to get into it over something dumb or whatever happened. He offended somebody and someone's OnlyFans got mad. I don't know. That whole space is all fucked up. But
Yeah.
they had Chris, the dude he fought. Like, I felt for him because when I watched a little bit of the video, like he went out there and like he didn't embarrass himself by any stretch of the imagination. Like he was throwing punches and he's putting the effort in. But the guy he was fighting, like his reach was like insane.
Yeah, and Chris is a small guy already.
Yeah, so like, and I don't, and this is my problem with Creator Clash and why it's on the misconduct list. Like, what weights are these people fighting? I know, like the Alana fight was like at 160, which I 100% believe was a catch weight or whatever that was. But
yeah, so
I don't know. Like,
all right, first I got to talk about this because I know we talked about it before, but Alana Pierce, that Micah girl, not a natural 160 fighter. All right,
which
I don't
girl?
care. Well, both of them,
Yeah, because Alana bulked up.
That Mika girl, she clearly didn't want to cut any weight, and I think that they did this in Creator Clash to avoid the negative stigma that they probably foresaw a PR problem with forcing people to fight at weight classes that they would normally fight at in like boxing or MMA.
Yeah.
Because you can just look at them. I mean, like they weighed in fully clothed with their shoes on and everything, and it's like,
which is fine. Like that's
okay,
yeah, I mean that's not what we're there for. But
yeah.
and if we're gonna be sticklers for the weights and all that, like yeah, don't show the weigh-ins. But I get it. But my problem with that, and especially in like just for the fight's sake, like there were some mismatches based on weight alone. Like
yeah. So Chris was fighting at 130,
yeah,
which is probably a good size for Chris. And the guy he fought was at 145. I think that guy probably cut down to 145. He was huge.
He had chicken legs, by the way. But anyway,
Chris was staring at his chest when they were standing up straight. Chris' head was at his chest. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, and like
whoever did this,
it sucked because like just simple physics. Like if you're a smaller fighter and you have small reach, like you have to engage and you're gonna take fucking damage. Like so like it just wasn't fair to him. I thought that like they gave him this some blah matchup at a dude 10 pounds fucking heavier than him and had way more reach. Like it just like, and he's been a good sport about it. Like I don't think he's been bitching. Like it's for charity. So like let's these weren't like super competitive fights, but like just for him, like, and then people are dunking on him like, oh, you got fucking beat, you lost, all this. I'm like, dude, like what do you want him to do? And like
especially in boxing,
yeah,
height and reach is a big deal.
Correct. Like, and people don't understand that. I also will give a misconduct to the to the LSM crew. They missed an opportunity to fucking run with this, where they should have had Colin being like in a corner man, Cog. They should have had the whole fucking crew rolling in deep. That would have been funny as shit. But I'm assuming politically, I'm certain somebody had a fucking problem. Like somebody would have bitched up. Like, but
who knows?
Yeah, but like, I thought that would have been funny. But then, like, shout out to Alana for like I saw the knockout or the knockdown, like where she chin checked this girl, which I thought was great, just to see it. And then, I guess you were saying people were like bitching that she shouldn't have won.
Yeah, people were saying that that Mika girl was way more aggressive and whatnot. But also, we're not talking about boxing fans here. These are a lot of like people that sit on their couch and watch YouTube all day that have never, they don't know how boxing scored, whatnot, watching this stuff. So I don't know. I didn't watch the Alana fight. I only watched a couple fights before I turned it off because I was like, "This is."
How'd you order it?
No, I was watching some dude stream it on Twitter. I was like, "This is horrendous." I'd rather do anything else. When I saw Crash Bandicoot get in the ring and get like kicked and stuff like that, and I was
like, dumb. I mean, if
But
we were ever asked, we'd do it, but still.
I did watch the Marisha Ray fight, and I gotta say, her coach sucks. Whoever trained her did a terrible job because I do believe that she probably put a lot of effort into this, but you could tell that she was not prepared. And she couldn't punch right. You know why? Because she didn't train with fucking gloves on. They put all these guys in super heavy gloves because it was their first fight, so they were trying to avoid like concussions and stuff.
Yeah.
So my initial thought when I saw her throw punches was, if it looks like she's fighting in a dream, I bet she never trained with gloves. And then I went through all her like training videos, and lo and behold, almost all of them she does not have gloves on. But people
Why
don't
would you?
realize that when you put 14-ounce gloves on your hands,
Yeah, that's way.
it burns. Like when you're just holding your hands up, it eventually burns your shoulders when you're throwing punches
Yeah.
and stuff. So like she was doing things like throwing everything from her
Yeah.
shoulder, like throwing like this instead of like like a
Mhm.
piston. And she got beat the fuck up. Marisha Ray got beat up for 5 rounds. I
Yeah.
really
You
thought that she was gonna throw in the towel, but she didn't. And then in fact they gave her an award for like some like
toughen it
hanging
out.
in
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Oh, here's the other thing. I noticed they like didn't fight with headgear on or anything, which I thought was a little crazy. I thought they'd at least have headgear.
they did professional
Um.
rules, which is crazy.
Yeah. So I was. Was that sanctioned then? Like,
Yeah,
did they have to go to the? So an athletic commission. I'm assuming it was in California.
I don't know where it was. You would
So
imagine
whatever
California.
state athletic commission we're getting way too technical with it, but I was just a little shocked by that because like when I saw them fight with no headgear, I'm like, that's a little dangerous.
Yeah,
Like, so
but
shout
they're
out to
all 0-0 fighters, right? I mean, most of them
right,
are. Some of
yeah,
them,
they're all amateur fighters, but like
some of them fought the
some
year before, but
yeah, but some are like athletically way more, yeah, I don't know. I just thought like it was a little crazy that they were without headgear. But shout out to everyone who fought. Like I thought, it's awesome. And like I said, shout out to Chris for like being a good sport about it because I feel like he got a raw deal. Like
yeah.
I feel like they didn't really give him a matchup that like made sense.
And
Um,
shout
so
out to
last,
Marisha Ray for not giving up
yeah,
when your face was getting caved in.
yeah, that's a real one. Also, there were there was like a lot of weird shit. Like there was a tweet from Alana who's like, "Oh, it was a great night when I kissed," and it was some OnlyFans girl. I was like, "What the fuck?" Anyway, it was real weird.
Yeah, I don't
A lot of weird. California, y'all are weird as fuck. I'm gonna be honest with you.
know.
I can't handle them. So last thing on the misconduct list, and we're gonna wind this puppy down because we're a little long in the tooth here. So I'm watching playoff sports right now, and so watching a ton of sports. What's starting to piss me off is when I'm watching an NHL game and my favorite hockey team, the fucking Islanders, are guilty of this too. Is someone will go on a penalty, which if you commit a penalty in hockey, you lose a man, they go to the penalty box, and then the other team is what's called a power play, which they skate 4-on-5 or sometimes 5-on-3, depending on how many penalties you take. What I don't like is I hear the Mario noise where you get hit with a mushroom or
Yeah.
like you lose, you have to that like you hear that. Then when you get your player back, you hear the Mario like getting a coin, the like the ding. I don't know, like.
Mhm.
And then I was watching the NBA playoffs, and like anytime there's like a crazy pass or like a turnover, a steal, they play like the Zelda like discover the ding. Like I'm like okay, like
Some nerds
I'm
having
like
a blast.
yeah, I'm like this isn't like who's that for? Like, yes, it's all recognizable sounds, I suppose, but I don't like it. Don't like it. Not a fan of it. It's just it comes off very campy and I
I
don't
agree.
know. The only time I ever saw something that was cool, that was video game related in a sporting event, and it was hockey. Uh there was a fight where two guys fought and they started playing the Guile theme.
That's awesome.
You see that plays for me. I like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like these stupid like video game noises and all this other dumb shit, like don't do that. Like don't insult the medium. I
Yeah.
don't like it. It needs to
I'm surprised
stop.
Nintendo allows it, to be honest with you,
I
because
don't know if they like. I don't know if they own the rights to those sounds. Like I don't know. Maybe they get royalties from it. But like, are you fucking as a franchise gonna pay them? Like, can we use this sound?
I can tell you I've definitely heard the Mario sounds in a bunch of other places, including my place of employment, where every time I press a certain button, the coin noise pops. I'm like,
Oh,
huh,
I've
that's
heard the
interesting.
Sonic ring noise at gas stations too.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird as hell.
What's going on here? Is
Yeah,
this
like
not
why?
what if it's not actually the Sonic noise? What if it's actually the gas station noise?
That's like some fucking mind fuckery right there. Oh man, but yeah, like just it's driving me up a fucking wall. Like I hear it so much, I'm like, oh my god. Also, stop singing all the small things at sporting events.
Stop
Stop it.
singing in
Like
the
it's a
air
Blink
tonight.
180, that one too, but especially the small things. Like it's a cool Blink 182 song. We all know it, but like it's not Sweet Caroline. All right, like it just like can we stop? Because a, it's making me feel old that that's being sung at baseball games, hockey games. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And then lastly, don't be that fucking guy. And we all know who this person is. When you buy a game and there's hype for a game, quit fucking posting spoilers on the internet, you fucks.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cuz
That sucks.
I almost had Kuro no Kiseki spoiled for me on Twitter, where like I was like reading a guy I follow's Twitter thread, and then like I saw a comment like, this guy above me is a fucking asshole. You spoiled this, and I thought like, is this guy being cool, or is he actually the motherfucker who posted the spoiler? And I
Oh,
couldn't.
playing a little mind games.
Yeah, little fuck aroundery, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
again, if you're posting spoilers, there's a special place in fucking hell for you.
yeah.
So fuck off.
It should be illegal if someone posts spoilers online to find them and just beat their ass. Just like pummel them. You know.
I agree. I agree. I fucking agree. Well, sir, that's our show for today. Just in some housekeeping, you can always find us on Facebook at Alpha Nerds. We're on Instagram at Alpha Nerds _prime. I've learned that we now have a Twitter handle,
We
sir,
do.
which
We
is
do. I made a
what's our
Twitter,
Twitter?
Alfred's Prime.
Alpha Nerds Prime. That's us.
Yep. And I'm on there pretty often, posting updates on my Kaseki journey, and
Yeah, taunting me, you piece of shit.
yep. just following a bunch of fans that have similar interests. So we're trying to grow the community there on Twitter.
Yeah,
Doing all
so
right.
give us a follow on Twitter. Smash that like button. You know, smash all over that like button. We need likes.
Smash.
Comment if you will. Comment. We appreciate the comments. Thank you, Mr. Alden. Appreciate the engagement, sir. You're a real one. You've been a longtime fan of content, so I appreciate you. And as always, when in doubt, square up, throw down. Love you.
Throw down.